So in this episode, we're going to show how we can modify the triple amp setup that we developed in episode 7. We're going to include a looper function. So now our goal is going to be to combine all these stereo effects and be able to record them, either a left recording, a right recording, or a stereo recordings, and be able to play over those with stereo. So have complete control. So what we're going to do is we're going to show how we can use another merge mixer here to combine all this information and be able to record all that information in a looper. For the live setting, it'll allow us to do lots of performances that we might not be able to do any other way. So we're going to go into the HX Edit software real quick, and I'll show how to set that up.
Here we are on our preset from episode 7. This is a triple amp preset, so let's review this really quick. On path 1A, we have our distortion. We also have an amp and a cab. At this location here, we have our AB split, where we split to a second amp and cab. So path 1B, we bring it back together, and we have our merge mixer set up here. So our left channel is path A, and our right channel is path B. And as I said, what we're doing is we're sending this down to our path 2A, where we're going to employ most of our effects and things of that nature. And then we also have down here, path 2B is going to be where we had all our clean settings. There's a couple of important things. I'm going to move this path up here. But before I do that, a couple of key things to keep track of is I had to adjust the levels for this path here, path 2B, to be consistent with the level for my distortion paths, which are sent on all through 2A. Now the issue here is because of the effects and things and the amps that I've used and the settings I had up here, this path was significantly louder than this path is naturally. So what I had to do is I had to adjust this path. So in this case, adjusted the volume. I have a volume block in here, which is set pretty high, and I have the output level set pretty high for this particular path. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to merge these two together. So one of the things that I want to keep track of when I merge these two together is now they're both 2A and 2B are going to be coming out with this output setting. And so we're going to need to adjust the clean channel. That's something that's going to be important for us to adjust when we do this kind of a mixing, when we bring them back together. So just something to think about there. So the first step is I'm going to merge these guys together, and then I want to add a looper after the merge point. Now, unfortunately, because I've used up all the DSP in the standard Helix, I don't have any more DSP to put a looper. I'm actually going to chop out this reverb block. I'm going to click the X on the reverb block, get rid of that. And now I have enough DSP for a looper. I want to make sure I'm on the stereo because all these paths are stereo in here, 6-switch looper. So I've added that guy in there. Now, as I said, I have this issue now that I've merged these with balancing the volumes. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add an EQ block here, one of my favorites that I've set up. And I'm going to go down to this EQ block here. And the other thing I'm going to do is my distortion path is coming in a good bit hotter than my clean path, as we saw earlier. So to balance these two, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the levels. And one way to do that is to add a volume gain block. I've already got one picked out, my favorites, that has the correct reduction, quite a bit of gain reduction here for this channel so that these two are balanced. Now what's going to happen in this case is now that I've cut this one so much to make it so it's about the same level as this guy, I'm going to need to go over here and I'm going to need to adjust this output and bring it up significantly. So about 18 dB. And this should balance the clean channel and the distortion channel in the overall output. So the very first thing we're going to do with at our merge point is we want to assign, let's do the clean channel. So we're at snapshot 4 clean, we want to hear that guy. So what do we want to do in this case? Our path 2A, we don't want to hear at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click, scroll down to snapshot, and we want path A to be canceled. So put that at minus 60 dB. And then we want path B, right click on it, go down to snapshot, and then we're going to let this path get through all the way. So we just set it to 0 dB. For this snapshot 4, it will cancel off path A, and it's going to let through path B. So we can go through all of the snapshots and set them up. So we can look at our left play should be set so that we don't want any clean getting through there, and we want our path 2A to get through. All right. And if we do our right distortion play, we want to kill off the clean channel. So we're going to set that to negative 60 dB. If we want to do this is going to be, later I'll explain this in more detail, but we want our left record rhythm to be distortion right now. Again, we want that one to be negative 60 dB for the clean channel. And we're going to do our right record rhythm. We want that to be negative 60 dB for the clean channel. So for the record clean, I also don't want my distortion getting through. I just want my path B, channel B getting through. So I'm going to set that to 0 dB for path B and negative 60 dB for path A. Now in this case, for the solo, this is going to be the one case where we use all 3 amps together at the same time. We're going to let both the dual amp and cabs above get through, and we're also going to let our clean channel get through. So we're going to do the standard thing we did in episode 5 when we're looking at the looper. We go to our window command center, and we can see all of our snapshots are up here in the pull down menu. And we can see that we've associated different looper functions with the different snapshots. I've already assigned all of the functions to the looper for the different snapshots. We'll go through them so we see exactly what happens. I'm going to have snapshot 1 be our left play rhythm. And in that case, we're going to set that function here to play. All right, we have our right play. Again, you'll see the function is set to play. We have our stop. This is going to be our stereo rhythm coming through, and the function set to stop here. We have a clean channel that gets through, and we're going to have that one set to stop. We have a left record, so if we want to record or overdub just on the left rhythm channel, that's what this one will do. We have a right rhythm record, so we want to record just on the right channel for the distortion. That's what this one will do. All right, and we see we're down over here on the record setting for that. If we want to record our clean function, our clean channel, we have that one set to record as well. And then if we want to play over any of these, we have our solo set to be able to play over the top of them. So a couple of key things to notice in these snapshots. So I have a record left, a record right rhythm, and I have a record clean channel. So these are all choices that you would have to make about what you want your preset to really do. But in this case, it gives us lots of flexibility. We can record and play any direction we want. So let's go through our snapshots real quick, and we'll look at the merge points. So here, this is my left play for my rhythm. We'll see up here at this merge point, my left channel is getting through, which is path A. Let's look at what happens down here at this merge point. Again, path A is getting through, so this is 2A is getting through here. So essentially what's happening is, for this particular one, left play, we have this channel is getting through all the way, being sent down to path 2A, and then that's being allowed to get through. So we really have just a left channel getting through in that case. If we want to do the right channel play, that's going to be this path here, our path 1B is getting through. If we check this mix point, we see only path B is getting through. Path A is being blocked. And then if we look at this point, we see the same thing. So this signal is being sent down to 2A, and that's going to get through. According to our mixer here, we're just letting path A through, and path 2B is being blocked. So the cool thing about this is we have complete left-right independence, and all that information is recorded in our looper when we turn it on. So that's what things look like in the HX Edit software. Let's go take a look at what these sound like and how we can use them on the Helix.
So now we're back at the Helix. So let's just go through all of the things we have in this preset now. So we have our left distortion, our right distortion, both of those are set to play. And then we have the dual distortion. We're going to also have that set to stop. We also have a clean tone that's also set to stop. We have our solo, so we can play any of our background stuff and the solo will go over the top of that. And then if we need to stop the playback, we can always just go to stop rhythm. We are limited with the options we have because of the number of snapshots that we have available. But we have total control over whether we send the signal left, right, both at the same time, and what we can record. So total power over the sound in lots of different ways. Let's demonstrate all the different tones, different sounds, and how they can work together. So I would record my clean signal as I'm playing. And we could play on top of that with our distortion solo tone. And then if we want to, we could actually add, say, a rhythm right to that. And then we could play over the top of that with a solo. And then we could stop the playback, continue to play some rhythm if we wished, or any of the other sounds that we're interested in. So that's one thing we can do. The other thing we can do, because of the way we have this set up, say for example we wanted to start off playing on the right side, and we could record the right side, then we could play over the top of that with something on the left side, and we could record over the top of that with something on the left side, and we could play over the top of that with the solo. And then we could stop that and continue to play whatever rhythm we were interested in. So you can see there's lots of flexibility here. There's one other thing we can do though. For example, when we record the right side, record a little bit on the left side, Then we can play over the top of that, and you can see that underneath what's happening is it actually recorded the sequence on the right side, then it added to that the sequence on the left side, one after the other sequentially. Instead of recording them both at the same time, we can actually record sequences. And then we can play with it. Now, once we hit play, if we go back and record, it's going to overdub on top of it. So it'll play it simultaneously instead of doing them sequentially. But once we hit stop and we go back to do any of the recordings, it will overwrite the existing loop with a new loop. You can see there's a lot of power in the way we can control these different options. This allows us to be able to do lots of things live that we might not be able to do any other way. And it really allows you to emulate multiple guitars at the same time in a live setting. And you can do some really cool things with it in the recording studio as well. So that's it, a super powerful technique. Check out the other episodes, lots of cool information in there. And we're going to continue to build on these ideas to create some really awesome and amazing sounds in the future as well.